Well, we are live with the relaunch of the House of Middlescence. I am so excited to welcome today's first guest of the relaunch. I want you to consider the House of Middlescence to be a place where we talk midlife, solo aging, careers, life, and business over 40, 50, 60 plus, because it is a fabulous time in life. But today we're talking about how lonely it can be if you are an entrepreneur, the loneliness that happens, whether you are a solo ager like myself or you have a partner. It gets lonely in the house, okay? It gets lonely. And my guest that I'm bringing, which is Tasha Jones, she is now an executive career coach, and we actually come from the same industry when we worked for corporate America. But what's interesting enough is we had met in person for the first time earlier this year. Well, we wanted to do coffee again. We really enjoyed each other's company. Life got in the way, careers, all the things. And so last week we were going to meet, and I told a white lie. And that's where the story begins. So let me welcome to the stage, Tasha.
Hello,
Tasha.
hello. Oh, I love that introduction. I don't think you told a white lie.
I mean, listen, when you did what you did, and we'll talk about it for a
Yeah.
moment, what happened, which inspired me to have you as my first guest, uh, that just filled my cup what happened last week, because it gets lonely, whether
Mhm.
again, you're a solo ager, as I said, or someone like yourself who has an amazing partner in life. It still, as a solopreneur, can get lonely. So I would love for you to first introduce yourself. Say hello to our house guests.
Yes, hello to the Housecast and fans of the amazing Barbara Brooks. I'm so happy to be here. Tasha Jones, CEO and founder of LV Jones Consulting. Barbara, I am excited to share with you that I am embarking on my 5-year anniversary of LV Jones Consulting on January 1st of 2026. Very exciting. And what we do is, the tagline is inclusive solutions for a collaborative workforce. So I love sitting at the center of bringing voices to the table centered around a vision, a strategic plan, a community aspiration, et cetera. And so no matter the sector, no matter the group size, no matter the company, public, private, nonprofit, I love to sit at the table with teams.
Well, Tasha, before we dive into the topic of loneliness and this
Yes.
time in life when it comes to being a solopreneur, how did you start your career? Because we both, as I said, we come from multi-use property, marketing management, all the things. Me being in the shopping center industry at several malls across the United States, from Fashion Show Mall in Vegas to Park Meadows here, even Aurora Town Center at Aurora. Oh my gosh, I got it wrong. Where I worked with
Yes.
Simon Property Group, who I've worked with for twice, and then Rouse twice. How did you get your start, and then what made you launch your company, your
Sure.
solopreneurship?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I actually studied journalism and mass communication. I thought I was going to be this, broadcast news anchor, news reporter. And what served me well was I loved storytelling. So I kind of segued that interest. I did get my degree in journalism, mass communications, but always had an interest in marketing and telling story through campaigns. And so I found my way into a couple ad agencies. And then from there, found my way into the client side. So was able to work for universities. But what really shifted the trajectory of my career, where I entered, your industry, was I started to enter into real estate. So worked for a really large real estate investment trust by the name of Prologis and worked in a global marketing department. I had this ability to help tell story or create connection and communicate with every level within an organization and just create that synergy. That was just like my gift. And whether it was the C-suite or admins, as I was working my way up, I could just always find ways to connect. And I took that over to a large master plan redeveloper, which you're familiar with, Forest City,
Yeah.
and went to work on the former airport site redevelopment, now known as Central Park. So I worked on that project for 15 years in
You
marketing and
were there for
comms.
15 years?
15 years. Can you believe that?
I didn't. And you know what's funny, Tasha?
Yeah.
I had heard of your name when I was in the mall industry, because I dipped into radio and TV as well, but on the
Okay.
sales side. But
Yeah.
but interesting enough, I had heard your name, and then
Small world.
Rob Brown kept telling me,
Yes.
right? Kept
Yes.
telling me that I needed to meet you. And so fascinating that it took this long for us to meet.
Hey, we were meant to meet in this moment, right? At this intersection of our lives where we are today. But I do wish I knew you back then. I could have really
Me
used
too.
but could have really used a colleague in this space, especially us being two women of color in an
I was thinking that.
industry that you don't see
Yes.
a lot of us at the table. And here we were leading in our own right in those industries.
Well, you know what? You were so right because when I was with Simon Property Group, General Growth, Rouse, all of them, more often than not, I was one of maybe two or three in the entire company doing marketing for shopping centers back
Easily.
in the 90s and the aughts. Now, thankfully, I never felt it. I just, I
Yeah.
probably like you, I was just doing my job. I was really great at it, award winning and all the things. But it's fascinating. It would have been really great
Oh,
to, as you said, know someone who was of the BIPOC community,
that's right.
where even if we don't talk about being in the BIPOC community, there's just something, there's this kindred spirit that we have, that we could have had, but we have now.
But you know what, though? I think that even though we didn't get to know each other then, here we were representing and just doing our best work, adding the most value, leaving a legacy. And then here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah,
And,
here we are.
and this is where I like to say, this is how the Lord works.
Mm.
And no, this isn't a Christian channel, but I'm just saying, as somebody who was raised in the church,
Whatever you choose to believe. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm with you.
it's so
There's
funny.
something divine.
Now, how did you, so 5 years, January 1st, which is
Yeah.
it's my father's birthday. But
Oh,
how did you, and it's funny because actually, Tasha, my company started in 2018 in July with volunteers, but it officially incorporated January 2nd of 2019. So that's so funny that
that's
we're
so
January
wild.
babies.
Yes. Okay, we have to always make sure we like give each
Celebrate.
other a little cheer, celebration, phone
We
call,
do.
all the
How did
things.
you decide to go from corporate America of however many years to saying, you know what? I want to do me. I want to help clients in another way or help people in another way and leave corporate and literally leave paycheck,
Literally.
2 week
Lit-
paychecks that were
I
pretty
know.
nice.
I know. And I'd imagine, Barbara, you
And
could.
every once in a while, sorry, my dog, she just has to
No,
be in.
I love it. She like just stay with us. What's your dog's name?
Her name is Riley.
Oh,
Yeah,
Riley.
so she was begging, sitting to hear the
Yes.
conversation. So
Oh,
yes.
hi, Riley. I just side note, I have a little white fluffy puppy. I have an East Bichon, and her name is Charlie. So, but she
Oh,
does not like to make an appearance with me. She'd rather sit comfortably on the couch.
I love the way, but I also love that we have boy names for our pooches.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
But
So, yeah,
yeah,
how I started. Well, I
yes,
think you'll appreciate this, Barbara. Like, I was a corporate girl through and through, and I have a sense that you were too. And I love the stability. I mean, I was gonna retire with Forest City had it not got bought out by Brookfield Properties Development, but I just was very content. But then, I started seeing like, I think there's more that I could offer out into the marketplace. Why am I just doing this for one employer? So I thought, well, maybe I could have a side hustle because I never wanted to be untethered from corporate. And do you ever have those folks in your life that, they see something in you that you haven't yet discovered in yourself? Do you know what I'm
oh
talking
my
about?
gosh, I can't believe you said that. I literally was talking with my new business coach, my accountability partner, about that just on Tuesday because
Yeah.
my former business partner Lupe, one day we were talking and she mentioned the word, it just said how smart I am. And I had
Yes.
not heard that in my entire life, probably from my mom because she thinks the world of her kids. But it sent chills through me because she saw something in me that as an ADHDer always felt she didn't belong in
Mhm.
some points. Um, yes, she saw something in me. And
Yeah.
yes.
Well, and I'm so glad that you said that, that recently someone said that to you and you'd never heard it before and how it lit you up and it made you
It lit
stand
me up.
taller. And I just hope that, for anyone who's listening and watching this, that we remember that like we have to lift people up. We have to tell someone that we see them in ways that they might not see themselves. Because who else is going to do that? Like maybe no one's done that for them, to your point. And
Right.
so why not now?
Why not
Why
now?
not now?
Because I'm now 59. I was in my mid 50s when that happened, and we were doing something, and I was feeling down, which I only show that to
Yeah,
very few friends until now. Now I don't mind because that's what led us
that's,
to this conversation today.
yeah,
So now I don't mind being vulnerable, but I was in a vulnerable state, and and Lupe knows absolutely everything about me. And when she said that, and again, maybe I'd heard it other times in my life, and it just didn't sit the way it sat this time. I don't know. But there were times in my life growing up in college and in school that reading comprehension is hard for me. I'm an
sure.
audio person, I'm a visual person. I did not know those were capabilities and my superpowers of being ADHD, which I was just diagnosed officially 2 years ago. And so when she said that,
Yeah.
yes, it lit me up. I started crying.
Yeah,
Well,
because you
you're
were ready
right.
to receive it. You were
I
ready
was
to
ready to
receive it.
receive it. I think that's it.
Yes.
And so leading to what happened last week was I was open with you. I lied to you
I
partially.
I don't
I
think you
said
lied.
I couldn't do coffee and we were going to meet and have a lovely time in Cherry Creek, Colorado. And something told me to just be honest after sending the early morning text. Something told me a few hours later to just be honest with you. I think I got that from you the very first and only time we met in live
Yeah,
and in person. I
at the
got this
Clayton.
realness and lack of judgment from you, a no judgment human being and just a
Mhm.
kind person.
Yeah.
And I said, and I text you. And what did you do?
I called you like because you were so when you I don't feel like you told a white lie. Barbara's very truthful, everybody. Like you just were honest. You just said, listen, I know we were going to meet for coffee in summary, right? I know we're going to meet for coffee, but I'm feeling really down. And
Yeah.
and what I heard, this isn't what you said, what I heard, quite frankly, I need to use my resources, my energetic resources to get ready to put my game face on later. Right. Like
Yes.
I heard that. And so I thought, it wasn't even, I didn't even have to think. I read it and I thought, no, like, I just want to make sure she's okay. I'm just going to call her.
Yes.
She can tell and
Yes.
just let her know that I'm cheering for you. You didn't even have to tell me anything. I just wanted you to know I was cheering for you. And I think we need that
Yes.
as community.
As community. And it came at a time that, again, and I'm just coming out of my funk,
Mhm.
but I needed those words, even from someone that is, I'm considering a very new, amazing friend of mine who saw something in that text and saw something that you could feel comfortable to call me. And normally, ask any other friend, if I'm down, I'm not answering the phone. So So something told me to answer the phone, and then it led to a beautiful conversation about loneliness, about solopreneurship, and
Mhm.
how you, just a variety of things that I
Yeah.
wish in the moment I would have taken notes, but I was so in I was feeling my feelings, as they say.
Yes.
So
Yes.
share with us some of the things that you, as an executive coach, that you sort of coached me in that moment. And it was a beautiful, it couldn't have came at a better time. So I felt like we needed to talk about this and bring this topic to others because
Sure.
so many women over 40 are starting companies. And again, they may,
Yes.
wherever they may be in their personal lives with a human or not in their lives, this couldn't come out of our time because of what's going on in the world,
Mhm.
solopreneurship, all the things. So share with us some of what you said to me because, girl, it went in and it stuck, and then I was ready for the day.
Yeah, look at you. Yeah, no, so I think like kind of bringing it full circle where that idea of someone seeing something in you, which that happened for me, that inspired me to go start this business 5 years ago and started as a side hustle. But then eventually I kept getting more people wanting part of that energy, part of that work, part of that expertise. And I realized, oh, I don't think this within 6 months, I can't make this a side hustle. It needs to be full time. So then I went full time. And I will tell you that a lot of the lessons I learned in corporate America from folks who just chose to see me in ways or see my potential, I clung to that. And I always wanted to make sure that in every space I sat at, which is what happened when we were on the call together, is always intently listen. Always intently listen. And so when
Yes.
I called you, first, I was prepared for you to not answer. I was prepared to leave a message. So if I couldn't intently listen, I was prepared to just let you know that I was cheering for you. But then you answered.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I just wanted to immediately say, before I switched to intently listening, hey, I just want to make sure you're okay. And I want you to know I hear you and you've got this. We'll get together another time because we were meeting. I just felt inspired to celebrate your birthday. You just had a birthday. I wanted to treat you to
Yes.
birthday coffee. And so
Yes.
I was still riding that high of like, oh, but we're still going to celebrate you. So I'm going to call you and I'm still lift you up. And then on the call, what we talked about was, you know, the danger of comparison. Sometimes what we do is when we see other people doing really well, we worry like, why aren't we doing enough?
Yes.
Why aren't we
I'm getting a pin as you're talking because
because we talked about that, right? And
we talked about that.
And I remember saying to you, and I just believe this, so I'll reframe it with what we said, but I just think so much energy is wasted when we compare and wonder, or, why aren't we having what other people have? And a lot less energy goes into just being happy for that person and cheering for them and yay, you're doing it. And then I'm gonna do mine too, right? So honing in on what's my focus, what am I trying to accomplish, what's my value? And so we talked about, look at the value that you're putting out there, Barbara. Like from the moment I mean, I've been following you probably since 2020, 2021. And I've just been such a fan of like, just but you are so uplifting of so many. And it can be lonely at the top when you're doing
be
that.
lonely. And one of the things that I shared with you
Yeah.
is that I had that morning, because a lot of women can agree with me. We don't get much sleep. Even though I'm
not anymore.
I'm getting better sleep, but still, I was up at 4 a.m. and I doom scrolled, and I shouldn't have done it. And I
talked about that,
right? And then I told you, and then that's when I opened up and said, "Here's one of the reasons why I'm feeling down, because we're launching a new company within Second Act Women. So
yes,
that the revenue is soft right now because I'm focused on that, but also on my speaking career, but also on the community. So I'm splintered, which is what happens with most of us that are entrepreneurs. And so I went through and I was looking at our mutual friend Simone Ross, who was in Dubai celebrating her son's 16K, and these fabulous
happy birthday, Gavin.
Right? These fabulous pictures of my other friend who's in France, and she's the VP of communications for Roblox, and I'm just like, I'm feeling not jealous, but envious that I, in that moment, cannot at 59, can't have those moments yet.
Yeah.
And I was just feeling, baby, it's okay.
Oh,
I was
sweet Riley.
She's whining, staring at me. I was just feeling a little bit like, when will it be my time? I'm working, like all of us, very hard on this social impact company and the impact that it's having on not just my life, frankly, which is why I'll never give it up, but on the lives of some of the women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll never give it up, but it's just, it gets tough when you can't just have someone else there that you could just have a moment with. So I needed that moment with you. And I think
that's right. And that's real. There's those moments where you feel alone and then you start to spiral, whether it's in comparison or why don't I have this, or I'm trying to do all this, but I don't have time to enjoy X. And I think those moments of pause are so critical to take stock of all that we do have. I mean, Barbara, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. All that you do have. And I'm not trying to diminish the loneliness, because when the loneliness happens, I think that you did what helps us break through. You were vulnerable and you were honest in a moment that you felt safe to be honest. And then you gave someone And I feel blessed that you gave me the opportunity just to connect, and we lifted each other up in that conversation, quite frankly. And so I think in those moments, and I've always said this for years, where I've said to my friends, whenever we are down, let's make a promise to each other to reach out to each other in that moment. It's okay. Like, I'm gonna, like, give yourself 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. I need you to give a very narrow window of time to be sad, but I need you still
Yep.
in that moment to reach out to each other. We have to reach out
Yeah.
to help pull each
Well,
other
and you
through
know
or lift
what?
each other up.
And you know what I think happens is I think we feel like, and this is what I felt for most of my adult life, or just also, it's a part of, I think, probably the Black community. I know for Southerners, for sure, my parents are Southerners, that you don't share your emotions, you don't
Mm,
share certain things, and
mm,
because you're not to be vulnerable. Like it's rare. I think I saw my mom cry maybe twice ever in my entire life. She is a tough, in a very, like, she was the neighborhood mom. She's tough, but loving and all of the things, but you just didn't see that. And I think we just assume that our friends don't want to hear it, that we're a burden, that we, if we're always coming to them for this, that, and the other, will they stop taking the calls? And
mm.
so I think there's some of that that maybe goes in, and just being vulnerable and just being
Do
honest.
you think though, do you think that when we're open to being solution oriented with our friends when we're vulnerable, so we're saying,
Oh,
hey, I'm in a bad way, or I am in a funk, or I can't pull myself up,
yeah.
and I want to because of XYZ, or I want to be able to get to a place where X. Do you think like friends want to show up for each other and troubleshoot together?
Yes.
Don't you think?
I think exactly what you said is true more often than not today. I think especially those of us over 40, 50, 60 plus, because more often than not, we're feeling the same thing. And so we're there for, yeah, I shouldn't say more often than not, but there are times that we're probably in the same boat. But I think you're right. We're not crabs in a barrel anymore. I don't think,
Oh, right. No.
right? I don't think, as I like to say, booming Gen X millennial women are crabs in a barrel as we may have experienced in our corporate lives at some
Yes.
point by one female boss. And hopefully no female bosses. But so I think you're right. I think we are more apt to want to be there for each other.
Largely, I do. I will say that I only surround myself around people or friends or a network, a community that where it's reciprocal.
Yes.
And then you just continue to attract that. You continue, right? Because we keep helping each other and we know that that's how we're showing up for each other. And I don't mean transactional. I mean, I know that you have my back someday. I don't know when
That's
that day is
right.
going to be, but today I have your back, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that when we focus on creating those networks or being part of those networks, that's all we're going to attract. So
Yes.
I'm not going to be naive and think that all women in our generation are of cut from the same cloth in wanting to lift all women up. I don't know that that is true, but I do know that you and I
Good point.
only surround ourselves with those women.
I do need to stop saying I think what you said, and I've heard that from many women, is true, that it's not as if every woman feels this way. I think
And that's okay.
yeah, and it's okay. Yeah, you're absolutely right. My question to you is, as an executive coach, because I'm assuming even with your friend group, you've probably run across this, is what does loneliness look like when you're trying to lead alone?
Mm. I think for me, loneliness has looked like there was, so we talked about just the shift in the sentiment toward DEI, toward inclusion, toward belong, like all of it, right? And this is a space that we sit in some aspects of our business. And I remember seeing that shift happen, and I sensed it back in 2023, but I was very intent about making sure that I was diversifying my services, that it was coaching, it
Smart.
was public speaking, it was traditional marketing and comms. And also, if you are trying to make sure you're telling a story of inclusion or DEI or idea plus belonging, et cetera, I can help you thread that story through with authenticity. And so when Q4 happened in 2024, I got nervous and I felt lonely. And then Q1, January 20th happened. And I mean to tell you the amount of panicked emails, text messages I was getting from people. And I'm just going to be frank, and I'm sure you felt this too. That wasn't helping. But here's what and they meant,
and I was a part of it. And by the way, it was not only not helping, but I was also a part of the email threads and the email or the text threads that I've had with some friends for 8 years. It was a part of the new friends who had friends in DC who were getting fired. So we were all, and then it was MLK Day. So there was a lot of emotion going on. And
it was real. It was real. And I felt a personal accountability in that moment of loneliness where I thought, I have to dig deep and I have to focus on my value and my purpose, not politics. So I just got hyper focused. Like I'm never going to stop bringing the value of being human centered and trying to make those human centered connections, help leadership see their work and their workplace culture through a human centered lens. How are you prioritizing people, whether it's your clients or your employees, right? Like, how are you prioritizing people? And I just doubled down on that. And I think you remember, I just started putting out these videos, like 1 minute, 30-second videos where I just was, I know it's really crazy right now, but I'm staying focused on the value that I bring. I need to do more of those.
You do more. Yes, you're very good at those.
Thank you.
Now that I know you shout out TV and communications, now I know why.
Well, so I need to do more of those. I hear you. I'm going to listen. But I'm telling you, like, that personal accountability and that moment of loneliness. So here I am alone, recording these videos, trying to lift myself up. I'm meditating. I'm just trying to do these things to keep myself uplifted. And so when I started kept getting those text messages, I just would start sending them a link to the video. I would say, well, this is how I'm navigating this moment. I hope that this will encourage you. And I think what that did for me was it helped me present myself as this steady Eddie, which is right. I'm just keeping steady and I'm keeping focused on the value, unwaveringly so. And what started happening, I started getting more and more people requesting work and, requesting help with, whether it was for coaching with folks who wanted to get executive presence, or whether it was for someone wanting to help connect with help get something to the finish line with their municipality and their city council, or whether it was just wanting a new marketing strategy for a very challenging crisis. So I think that loneliness, what I did, Barbara, is I dug deep and tried to find a way that how can I stay focused and then just keep attracting the folks that want to be aligned with that value proposition.
Yeah. Do you still find yourself doing that today? Because it was really deep, January 20th, and that whole month in a sense. So you're still, that's your way of getting rid of the lonely feeling, is just diving deeper and deeper into your work. And then how do you not burn out?
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Diving deeper into work.
How do you not get fatigue?
Yeah, no.
Because that's what I was feeling last week, by the way, when we called this. I'm also very fatigued and burned out.
Yeah, I had to listen to that fatigue, to your point, because you feel like you're running like a hamster on a hamster wheel.
Yes.
Like, I'm just trying to do all these things, nothing's sticking. I mean, I was doing webinars. Is anybody interested? Crickets, right? I was doing all that work into the web. I was trying to do biz dev and trying to make sure I'm, everywhere available, my values out there. And so that fatigue, I tried to listen to that with, okay, I think I need to pause and just reassess. I always make sure I have a full marketing plan, so I know what I'm supposed to do each kind of month, quarter, and kind of, do I need to pause on any of this? I'm full transparency. Gardening saved me this summer. That was my moment of reset this summer, just a way to channel my focus elsewhere, just being able to nurture something that I didn't have to overcomplicate.
Right.
So when I got fatigued, I just paused. But I do want to say something that like a breakthrough I had late this summer. So here I was, becoming a little bit of a hermit. I'm like, I just want to be in my garden and do my work with my clients and be in
It's
my,
so
like,
easy
right?
to do.
It was so easy to do. And I found myself not being present out in community. And I told myself that was okay, right? I kept saying, that's okay, because you're trying to heal. You're trying to. And then I realized it was in August. I was like, you have to get back out there. You have to show up. You have commitments. So I went to a big luncheon. I had a table. So I went to this luncheon and I ran into a former classmate from a leadership group I did. And we just connected real briefly. And she asked, what have you been up to? And I just told her what I was doing with the business. And she said, I need to talk to you. We might need your help. And for me, that was like that light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to, like, once you've healed, you have to get back out there, because it almost felt like the universe was returning me the gift of, see, if you just get back out there. And so fast forward to, I followed up with her. Had a meeting, showed up to a couple of events, put together a very comprehensive proposal, and then we'll see what happens, right? Like, she's interested, but had I not shown up to that event, I wouldn't have been able to have that reconnect. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes. And Tasha, I love that you said that, because what happens when we do that is, sure enough, you start attracting things. And I think, first of all, you said you have a marketing strategy and plan, and I do too. Now I've been the cobbler without shoes for far too long.
Oh, right.
And now
doing everybody else's. I used to do everybody else's comms plan and wouldn't do my own. And then I'm like, wait, I need one.
Right. And telling you, oh, you should have a business plan. Well, I have one. But you should have a marketing strategy and a digital content and your content pillars, and get your professional brand down pat and get out there and market yourself.
It's our wheelhouse.
Right.
It's our wheelhouse for everybody else. No, I'm with
you.
But
I know what I'm doing every day now. And also I'm making sure I'm also tracking what I do every day, literally every moment of the day, to see how I'm spending my time, because as an ADHDer, it is so easy to do everything else but the thing that we need to do, which is sell or build revenue or whatever it may be within your company. But what I like what you said is getting out there, because after you called me last week, and that pepped me up, and I had a meeting, or it was an aging event that the mayor was throwing, just happened to be at my church, and I showed up, and I showed up happier, and I showed up as me, as Brooks, because of the
and
call.
I could see it in the pictures. I could see it in the pictures,
and I made connections. I think I'm actually going to get a business out of it, and then I got a shout out from the city that I didn't even know they knew to connect women. So it was like, and that's the thing, is we do need to get out there more, by the way. And I'm going to do a whole nother podcast about that, because it's so easy, as you were saying, to stay in your garden, to stay on your couch and watch Real Housewives or Traitors or Love is Blind. Oh, they did.
Oh, Cody, please don't. Yeah. I feel some kind of way. I don't even watch it, but I saw enough.
I didn't watch the rest of it.
Some kind of way. Yeah.
But it's so easy to do that. And even as entrepreneurs post, even though it'll be 5-6 years, I think that's what COVID did to a lot of us, is it's so easy to just hermit, to stay in our little pod, so to speak. But the minute we get out there, that's when the connections happen.
Yes.
And we have to get out there more. And that's also good for your mental health, because you're seeing and you're talking and you're having fun with other people. And you're talking about your business. You're connecting.
You're supporting each other. You're connecting. Yeah. I totally agree. We need that as humans, to be in person. I mean, remember when we were in corporate, this is pre-COVID, and we'd have to communicate with people on, email. And then eventually sometimes it'd be on the Polycom, and those would be fine, but still you'd miss nuances, body language. And then the moment you and your colleagues from across, offices across the country, you got to meet in person, it was like breakthrough. And you're like, oh, you're the best. But it doesn't come through an email or on the Polycom. For those of you who don't know what the Polycoms are.
What is Polycom?
Do you remember like I feel like it's so crazy. It feels like it was 50 years ago. But you remember, like, in the conference room, there'd be that speaker.
Yes!
Like that 3-pronged speaker with the speaker in the center, and you could like dial up and dial a phone number, put people on mute and then
Yes.
unmute them, but the whole room could hear them and
Yes.
they could hear you. It was called a polycom in our office.
Okay, I didn't know that's what it's called, but how circa 2015 is that?
Literally, I know,
Even earlier.
decade ago. That's why I was like, who even does a polygon? Yeah, no,
But that's so
great.
true. We never had Zooms and all the things and saw
I
what they look like.
know. I'm so aging myself. I don't
My
care.
question
That's
to you as we come to, oh my God, who cares? Yeah.
Yeah.
As we sort of come to the close in talking about loneliness and solopreneurship,
Yeah.
considering, and I might be just throwing you off a little bit, but considering there are so many of us, do you have any solid tips for us about how we can show up differently, or maybe some things that we haven't quite thought of yet that, if we would think about it, we throw it into chat and get some answers that way. But yeah, do you have any human focused, human centered, or just tips?
Well, I will say as leaders, I think
Yes.
that there's a tremendous accountability we have as leaders in terms of being mindful of how we show up.
Can I first say, when you say as leaders, we have to remember we are leaders, because I think sometimes we are so used to, as solopreneurs, and this is where the loneliness comes in, is we are doing it all. We're the janitor, the admin, the tech support, the call, all the things, right? And we forget that we are actually the CEOs of our companies.
And we bring that when we show up for our clients. We're leading when we show up for our clients.
We are leading. Right. So I just had to remind, yes.
Yeah. So remember, like, if you're a solopreneur, if you're or have a small team, like, you are leading and you're leading your clients. And so I think that there's a big responsibility of being mindful of how we show up on the Zoom calls, in person, for the coffee, etc. And because we can lift the room or we can suck the air out of the room. And so the only way that we could be mindful of how we show up is, how are we good for ourselves? I love what you did, Barbara, going full circle, where, like, I know we're supposed to do this birthday coffee, but I don't feel so great. And we had the most powerful 5-minute conversation with, like, realness versus an hour of small talk because you were trying just to buck up. Right?
Yeah.
We totally avoided an hour of small talk and had the most effective, like, 5-minute conversation. And then here we are now. And you were mindful of how you wanted to show up.
Yes.
And I just think, so what do we need in those moments when we need to be mindful of show up? Do we need to honor our voice and say, can't make it real quick, this is why? Or do we, for me, I feel like just being more introspective. I love guided meditation. I love simple habits. Some people use Calm. But I love that moment for myself just to think about, how am I going to show up for my day? Or if I can't start my day, how am I going to shift my mindset mid-afternoon? I feel so accountable for my mindset, as evidenced by the start of the year when I said, okay, how do I focus on value?
Yeah.
We talked about having our marketing plans. You talk about having your journal, what you write, like how you're being really intentional about your day. I think the focus is everything, because it's so easy to get derailed by wanting to impress, wanting to seem like we have it all together, worrying about this, that, and the other, where if we can just get back to, no. This is what I'm here to do. I'm here to bring value to organizations and leaders who want to prioritize people, who want to have human-centered connections, who want to have inclusive solutions for a collaborative workforce.
Oh my gosh. So many good golden nuggets. So many golden nuggets. I cannot wait for my chat. Yes, because I'm a super user, to recap this this live discussion that we had, and I'll repurpose it out there so other people can see and hear what you have to say. Where can people find you, and what kinds of clients do you serve, in case someone is watching and needs your amazing services?
Well, I appreciate you. And first, if I may, can I just give a big brag about you again? Thank you for the time to be here with you. I'm looking forward to far more, maybe not all live, but far more conversations, the two of us. But I want the fans of you, the folks who, like, believe in what you are offering, and this tremendous weight you're carrying as you lift us all up. I want those listening to remember, how do we make sure we're supporting you, Barbara? How can we support you? B,
There I go.
remember that we were talking about leaders. We're all leaders in some way, even if we're solopreneur. How are we looking out for each other? Barbara and I just demonstrated the power of what can happen when we just take 5 minutes
Yes.
just to check in and say, hey, I see you. You got this.
Yes.
So I just want to just say that. And I know you're going to close out beautifully with that, but I just wanted to lift
Oh,
you up
thank
on
you.
your
I
show.
couldn't have said it better, to be honest with you.
Well, I just think the world of you, and thank you for holding these conversations and doing all that you're doing. And people can find me, Tasha L. Jones, on LinkedIn, LV Jones Consulting on Instagram. LVJonesConsulting.com. If you could just find me just about anywhere. I try to be really present in those spaces. And to Barbara's point, I'll do more videos. And we will both get out there and make sure we are present for our community.
Yeah. I think that's I think that's the most important thing that we're getting out of this. Well, there's so many golden nuggets, as I said, but one of the things is it may be lonely at the top, but reach out. And what I liked is it wasn't a text back. You called me. You old schooled it, and I think we have to do more of that.
I
You old
polycommed
schooled it. And I'm not the biggest phone talker. I am a text girl, but there was something that drove me to pick up the call. And I say, if you're watching, you do the same. You either make the call to someone that you maybe haven't heard from in a while, and you're curious about their life and maybe doing a check-in, or you're vulnerable and you do say to someone, whomever you may trust, that you need to feel your feels, and do they have a moment? Because it was all worth it. It just set me up for a better day. And I think that's what it can do for you as well. And so Riley, Tasha, and
Riley,
we want to say thank you for joining us. You can find the House of Midolescence every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. I am going to be talking in 2 weeks. I'm waiting for a confirmation from my guest next week. But in 2 weeks, we will be talking caregiving, because this is Caregivers Awareness Month. And I'm talking to the state director of AARP. In 2 weeks, we're going to be talking, but join us here live every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. as a house guest with your coffee, mimosa if you want, whatever it may be. Yes, right. And we'll just have a lovely time just enjoying one another as women and humans over 40, 50, 60 plus in midolescence. There's no better time than now. And you are an asset to this world. I just need for you to know that. And thank you, Tasha, because you were an asset to me. And I'm so blessed to have you as a new friend. I truly am.
Likewise.
So
thank you, Barbara.
And thank you, everyone, for watching.